Hi, I'm Borkon. Glad to have you here. Welcome back. And, well, today I'm just gonna check how productive this farm has been. It's been running, for reference, for about 3 days, I would say. And, yeah, I already emptied the main chests and I added some extra chests. So we have a double chest of amethyst shards and half. So 3 chests in 3 days, 1 chest per day. It is not amazing, but it'll do. But today we of course not gonna work on amethysts because that's already solved. I am going out exploring because I need something. I need moss. And the only way to find moss right now is through chests in shipwrecks. So I'm just gonna fly around this ocean. Oh, and this is made so much easier with the gamma override, because without gamma override it looks like this and we can't see anything. And well, I could see that there was a shipwreck here. And with gamma override the video quality gets better and we can actually see the shipwrecks. Let's see if I'm just lucky on my first attempts. I literally have not tried this. Yeah, okay. I guess they are common. I hope they are common, not that I'm the luckiest person alive, because they could... Once again, I'm gonna get accused for scripting this. This is not scripted. This just literally happened. I went to the first shipwreck I saw with gamma override, which is a little bit cheaty, and I got what I was looking for. And what are we gonna do with the moss? Of course, we're gonna build a self-sustaining bone meal farm. Actually, I'm gonna extract a lot of items from the farm, so it's not just making bone meal. You know, azalea bushes, flowering azalea, maybe even moss carpets, maybe even just get a few shulker boxes of moss in case I want it for something. Because, well, I already have made the bone meal farm for the redstone factory, and, well, it's working quite well. Actually, it had a minor problem with the clock that I just fixed, but it's working fine. It's supplying enough bone meal for the wood farm to work correctly. So, yeah, I'm gonna actually build it in my base. I haven't built anything on my base island for weeks. So let's go there and pick a spot and build a new kind of farm that is only possible in 1.17. And I think I'm gonna build it somewhere in this area. Maybe here. It's a little bit long, the machine, or maybe here. If I put it like this and remove this hill, and yeah, this is kind of flat enough, I'll find a spot, I clear it out, and I'll build it. And if you have watched my Let's Create SMP series, you maybe remember that I complained about the lack of replay mod in my previous episode there. Well, that's because that series is on Forge, and replay mode is on Fabric only. Well, it's not ready yet for 1.17, so we're not gonna have any replay mod. Instead, I'm just gonna have to talk about the farm, which I don't mind. You know me. I can talk about things for hours, and I usually need to cut my videos a lot because I keep talking. Like right now, I keep talking instead of building. Let's build. It feels strange to be working in this area again. Things are green. Why are things green? I'm not used to things being green. But yeah, I made a blackstone floor because right now blackstone is the most common building material I have. I actually have more blackstone than stone. That's it. I wanted to cook smooth stone to have the floor look the same as in my old Neverwood farm. Nope, don't have enough stone. I barely have 1 shulker box of stone, and this farm is actually gonna use a lot of actual stone. Well, it's not necessarily for it to actually use stone, but it's just easier. It's gonna generate a lot of stone, the farm itself. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm talking, that's the replay mod thing. Imagine this is my progress update that usually would be just a time-lapse. Well, it's not a time-lapse anymore because there is no replay mod. Instead, we're doing this. Hello, I am your replay mod right now. My name is Replay Mod, and this is the replay of me building this thing. Right, let's just build it. Hello, my name is Borkon. I own a redstone factory. Therefore, I keep running out of redstone all the time. I have no dust and I have no redstone blocks. It's because the witch farms are now connected to all the inputs of the farms, and I'm no longer storing any redstone dust or redstone blocks. So I need to do this. I need to go to the nearest autocrafter, try to figure out which input is the redstone dust, and it would appear that it would be here, and raid the crafting storage. This is just almost embarrassing. It's funny, but it is embarrassing that I keep running out of dust all the time. Let's just get a couple of stacks of blocks. I mean, what is this? This is the piston autocrafter. I don't think it's gonna be missing it that much. The problems I have created for myself are sometimes funny and sometimes tragic. And tragic-funny. I think it's called a tragicomedy. Right, is that enough? That is definitely enough. I'm not gonna need more redstone for now. I need to do a redstone block crafting system for this place, though, because this is just silly that I keep running out of things all the time. And yes, I kept the rain because this is the sadness. This world's smallest violin is playing to me. Oh, imagine having these kinds of problems, a double witch hut and no redstone dust. Well, I do have redstone dust. It's just not in a convenient place. This should be mostly it. I'm just missing some lava, which I just fetched. So I should place lava here. I should place lava here. And I'm gonna do the next ones later. I'm also missing some water in the water streams above, but I have deliberately not placed the water streams just yet, because I'm also missing a couple of moss blocks. I only have 2 moss blocks here because I left 2 of them in my base just for reserve, but we should be getting a lot of moss soon. So I'm just gonna test it. That's why I didn't put in the water, because I want to test it and get some moss in the process. So let's see, do we get any moss? Will this work? I will explain in a second how this works. No? No, it doesn't of course work, because I forgot to put in the bone meal. Oops, I'll fetch the bone meal. I'll be right back. We're gonna try again to enable this properly with bone meal, which it needs just to start, because this machine, like I mentioned before, it's gonna be self-refilling and self-fueling, or whatever you want to call it. Actually, let's test that theory. I'm just gonna get 1 block of bone, and we'll see if it's gonna generate enough bone meal to fill itself entirely. That's if... okay. Yeah, I don't want to land in the lava. I am getting exactly 9 bone meal that I'm putting into the machine. Bam. That's it. Nothing else. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Please give me some moss. Thank you. There we go. We're getting moss. We're getting all kinds of junk. And it should collect up there. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. Let me just get the moss blocks that I was missing, fill in the water streams, and I can explain to you how this machine works when it's fully complete, and for that I just needed those 2 moss blocks. Moss blocks placed, water streams fully functional. Still don't have enough bone meal, but that is fine, because let's generate our first bone meal and turn this machine on and just let it run for a while. So what's happening here is that this is... let me maybe fly up a little bit here. This is pretty much the same kind of moss bone meal generator that Ilmango showed a couple of times. First in just some experimental videos, and then he also did it in the Peaceful series. Except I improved it. Well, I want to say I designed it from scratch, but that would be a lie. Not because I copied his design, because I didn't, but because I saw his design, and basically my brain couldn't come up with anything better, so I did the same thing he did. This is a problem. Very often when you're watching someone else doing something, you just get like the idea anchored in your head that the way they are doing it is the best way, and probably in this case it might actually be. And then you just stop innovating, and I don't know, I don't want to stop watching other people's videos about things like moss farms or other farms for 117 items, because there are some great ideas, but I want to have my own ideas. And unfortunately, or fortunately in this case, I didn't. This is pretty much the same design that Ilmango used. I didn't look exactly at how he did things, but I am pretty sure that I improved at least on 2 different components on this one, although I might not have, it might be exactly what he does. I don't know. Let's go through what's going on here. Should I try to turn on the second module? The problem is if any of these modules, because there are 5 separate modules here, and if any of these modules starts without any bone meal in them, they freak out and they keep flushing the water all the time. It should never happen in reality, right? If I turn this off now, then the second module should probably start working correctly. Let's just stop it. See that the water disappeared. The water did disappear. Let's turn it on. And I think the second module should also work correctly now. Yes, it does. Does the third one work? No. The third one didn't have enough bone meal yet. Ooh, stop picking things up. We're gonna work on the loot system soon enough. And, no, the second one is still broken. Never mind. I need to fill up them with bone meal so that they work correctly. Anyway, so the way this thing works, let's go into FreeCam. So the way this works is that we bone meal a bit of moss here, with a dispenser here. And that converts stone, doesn't work in cobblestone, it converts stone and a few other blocks, but in this case we are using stone. It converts it into moss. That moss and some other blocks that are generated on top of the moss, as you can see there are some azalea bushes, grass, other moss carpets, other things. We flush all of this with water, it goes into water streams and gets caught by these hoppers right here and composted. And everything that is not composted is going to end up at the end here. I already got a bunch of blocks here. That's interesting. I don't know. But this stuff is just going to get collected here. And either I'm going to collect some of the blocks. I definitely want the flowering azalea bushes. Or I will just convert everything into bone meal. But I will catch some of the loot here. The loot system is not done, as you can see. Let's focus on the machine itself. So here we have a stone generator, not a cobblestone generator, but we actually generating stone. That happens when lava is flowing into water from above. So that generates stone. Now, as you can see here, the stone is being pushed into the moss, and that is enough to break the moss. The problem, as you might see here, is that the moss doesn't generate evenly. So we need to push the stone, well, different amount of times depending on how much moss there was generated. But instead of trying to be intelligent about it, and I suspect that would be very hard, what we do is that these sticky pistons pull down the row of stone that we have generated, and then these pistons here push them forward. Now, if the normal pistons wouldn't push the stone forward, the next time the sticky pistons would fire, they would push the stone up. And if any new stone had generated here above, well, that would destroy the lava and completely ruin the machine. The way we deal with that is that first, we power these sticky pistons through these target blocks. And then, 4 ticks later, we power these target blocks, which power both the sticky pistons and the pistons. I am not sure if this makes the machine directional or if there is some update order that is guaranteed between pistons and sticky pistons, and I was just lucky, but the pistons extend first and then the sticky pistons extend, and if the pistons did extend, I don't know if we can see it in a second, we should be able to see it, but it's very hard to see. Let me fly through here, maybe we can see it happening. So when the pistons extend, the sticky pistons can't extend. And if the sticky pistons manage to extend, they push the stone back. And then there is no chance for new stone to generate. And this is very carefully timed so that we are always on an exact 30-tick clock so that there is no chance of this getting out of sync and the stone generating in the wrong moment. And this seems to be working very reliably. I've run this for hundreds of hours and haven't had any problems yet. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is just a lucky redstone directional update order or if this is actually guaranteed, but this definitely simplifies this mechanism quite a lot. The second interesting innovation that I definitely didn't see in Ilbango's machine, but like I said, I didn't really look very carefully, is the way how we decide when it's time to make another harvest. So the harvest cycle is first we extend this sticky piston with this observer. This serves two purposes. The observer punches out whatever happens to generate on top of this block of moss, because like this grass here, for example, if this grass is here, then the dispenser dispensing bone meal won't do anything. So we need to destroy whatever is on top of that block, and then of course the observer also powers the dispenser. The signal to do the harvest or to spam one bone meal comes through this redstone line, and this redstone line also makes a turn here into a standard pulse extender, which we use to depower this torch to open up the trapdoors, which just send the water out. And this, by the way, is the same water that is used for the stone generator as well, so it's kind of convenient. But the way we decide when to start the next harvest cycle is like this. Every piston that pushes the stone forward has an observer looking at it, and they all send their signal into this line of redstone. So when this line of redstone blinks, that means that the piston has extended. If you look over there carefully, once the last block of moss disappears, gets destroyed, then the next push of the pistons now didn't generate any blink. And that's how we detect if we are pushing anything forward or not. This blink of this redstone line goes into this repeater, and this repeater, when it's powered, locks this repeater. This repeater, in turn, just looks at the clock and with some delay makes sure that if this repeater locks this repeater, then the signal to do the next harvest doesn't go forward. But if it's not being locked, like you just saw, now locked, 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 and it's probably not gonna be. Now it wasn't locked and the signal went forward. That's how we decide that it's time for the next harvest cycle. So instead of having some kind of clock that would be dividing by 7 or 8 or whatever we want to divide it, because the growing area here is 7 by 7, so probably the best way would be to divide the signal by 7. Instead of doing that, I just detect when we stopped pushing the stone forward. It's not a huge improvement of performance. I had a pulse divider that was dividing by 7 first. It is maybe 10% improvement, but it's smaller than a pulse divider would be, so I like it. It's a pretty cool mechanism, and it's very simple once I got it working. Of course, getting it working was another story. Now, another advantage of having the stone pushing detection is that this becomes actually ridiculously simple to do chain or tile. No, it's not tiling, it's chaining. And it is just by taking these modules, I always separate them with a wall. Yeah, I probably don't have to when the signal strength is strong enough, but I always separate it just for simplicity, and just add a repeater on the lines that are pushing the blocks, because the timing of pushing the blocks is always exactly the same. It's just the harvest timing that is slightly different. And I have now filled up the bone meal in all of these, at least enough for all of them to work. So let's turn it on and see if all the modules are correctly working together. And yeah, they all seem to be working. And as you can see, not all of the harvest cycles are synchronized. Now that one is a little bit behind, and probably because more moss generated. That's actually a good thing. And this one is ahead of everybody, etc. So they're gonna not be in sync. The stone pushing is more or less in sync. It's delayed by 2 ticks between every module, but yeah, that's how it works. And this thing, in my testing in creative, has been generating around 700 bone meal per module per hour. I cannot promise that it's exactly 700 because I did some last minute tweaks that probably slowed it down a little, but I am not sure. I don't want to promise anything. It's more than 680 and less than 720. That's the exact numbers I know because I done the long simulations on a slightly different version, and this version now has only been tested for about 10 hours, so I'm not exactly sure about the rates. It's around 700 plus or minus 20. But yeah, I'm now going to let this run. No, actually, I'm not going to let it run because I need the loot pickup system because it's kind of pointless to let it run and not pick up the loots. I keep doing this with all my farms. Why do I always leave the loot system for last? Oh, come on, that's a lot of loot here already. Right, that's a lot of moss. What do I do with moss, by the way, other than bone mealing it? Do I even need the bone meal? I want the flowering azalea because I actually have an idea for it. But everything else, what do I do with that? Oh well, let's build the loot system and then after that figure out what you actually want to do with the loot because, well, that's how technical Minecraft works. We collect the items, we don't really have a use for all of them. So I have just built a loot system for this and let it run for a couple of hours and let's see the results here. Well, couple, I actually don't know how many hours, but it's probably more than 2 and less than 5. And I see that there is a lot of loot coming in, which tells me that probably most of the composters are just fully fed. So we should have some blocks in here. So, okay, we're full on moss. Alright, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double chests of moss. This is kind of quick, actually. Flowering azalea, not all of them, we didn't even fill a chest. So we filled a chest of azalea and moss carpet as well. Didn't fill all of the chests, but most of them. And of course the rest is getting bone mealed, and I have a very simple auto-crafter here that gives me bone blocks. So this thing is, yeah, it's looking good. This thing seems to be working well. And let's just, oh, I get a jump scare every time I land here because I see that lava. Let's do something about the lava. We need to make the lava safe. And in this world, there is only one way to make things safe. With this guy. Oh yeah, let's make the lava safe. Bam. Bam. Safety first. Oh! I am not joking. Every time I see the lava, I jump in the other direction, and it actually makes it hard to work with this machine. I need to land here. Thank you. And I landed exactly where I wanted to be, and the lava scares me. Right. I'm actually getting very interesting FPS issues here with all this stuff going on. I really wish that the sodium mod would come out. There is a beta version out today, or yesterday actually, so you know, if you're following the sodium mod, you know when I've been recording this. It's not such a huge secret. And I tried it, and it kind of works, except it makes my base look weird, because all the glass just lost its color. All the edges of the glass blocks were magenta, like they were supposed to be, but the middle of the glass wasn't magenta, was just transparent, and it looked too weird for being my base. So I'm still not using sodium. I tried canvas as well. So there is a mod called Canvas, which is supposed to be a shader and some performance mod, and it's kind of working, but it made all my tools look really, really weird. Like some 5-year-old dipped them in glow-in-the-dark paint, so I'm not using that either, even though it did actually improve my frame rates, and especially when lots of pistons and stuff is going on. And also I have noticed in this area, when I'm here, the thing that is causing the most issues when rendering is when I'm looking at that, because, well, yeah, there is 140 zombie villagers in here, actually more, probably 150, because some of them don't count. And this absolutely ruins my frame rate. So if I look like this, 40 FPS. I turn around, even with the machine running there, it's already 60. And if I turn off the machine, we're gonna get even more. Sorry about the choppy quality of the video. I really hope that the good mods come out so we can go back to our high performance videos. So 90 FPS, let me turn around. 40. Turn around. 80. Well, we are around 80. Those things are really ruining my performance. Anyway, we now have a farm. We now have a loot system for the farm. The farm has probably already produced everything it ever needs to produce, maybe except some bone blocks or bone meal, which I want to use in the future. I tried to zoom in and I couldn't. The farm is now also safe. We made it safe, so that's good. The last thing remaining is a building. And you probably thought that I would put off the building until next time or next time or next time. Nope, built a building. We have it. Of course, it's typical of my buildings. It doesn't really have a door because I'm allergic to doors. I'm not, so I just completely forget that every building needs a door and didn't put one in. And I kind of did something weird here. I left lots of the surrounding hillside, or whatever we want to call it. I just left it in. Oh, it might be actually quite hard to see here because everything is built in. But this side also has a lot of stuff left. A whole wall here, and even a mushroom and a bunch of grass. I'm gonna leave this in. It kind of blends into the terrain, and I'm just lazy. And this doesn't really hurt. And as you can see, also, there used to be a loot system here, but it didn't really fit because when I was designing the building in creative, I just forgot I added a loot system. And rather than making the building bigger, which actually makes it much more complicated, these designs of these ellipsoids twisting buildings that I'm doing here, they get really complicated when they are long, so the shorter I can keep them, the better. So I just moved the loot system here, and well, it should work. I set it up exactly like there. I haven't really tested it yet, other than throwing in some... Oh, yes, hello, this should be a loot system, and I kind of forgot the most important bits of it, which is the hoppers. How do I add the hoppers up there? I'll figure it out. There need to be hoppers all the way up. But yeah, we have a loot system, we have a new building, and something that I've been neglecting for a while that needs to be done now. It is episode number 85. It's even divisible by 5. Something on my main island has changed, so we need a map. Let's make a map. And that's the last map. There are a few things that I find interesting, and it is the fact that none of the maps are actually showing me the mob switch or the zombifying mechanism. I actually haven't really looked at it. I'm now curious, because the map seems to be cutting off much earlier. Yeah, oh, what was that? I kind of froze in the middle of the air. Does it cut off here? I think the map cuts off here, and we're not seeing this mechanism. I don't think I'm gonna extend them. Maybe I should, but not in this episode. This time we're gonna keep the maps just as they are. Oh, come on. Oh, glide up. I'm spending so little time in my base that I forgot how to use this elevator. Anyway, I just noticed something. I said that nothing has changed on the island since then other than the new building. That's a complete lie. There is no duck here, and my debugging duck is right here. I completely forgot about that. I should have made the map in episode 80 as well, I guess. And here's the new building. And that's it. Nothing else has changed on the island. And now that I'm looking at it, there is still a lot of space where we could put things. I think I have an idea of what I'm gonna try next time. But that will of course be next time, because that's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and have a good moss farming. Bye.